Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about 3.4. Here you go. Outliers and box plots. Okay, here is learning objective. Okay, so in the last video, I said that there is no 5-number summary, right? Remember? So we just did with the homework, right? But here is 5-number summary. So normally when we introduce quartile, right after quartile, we have a 5-number summary, but this textbook split 5-number summary here, okay? All right, so let's take a look. Just take a look, okay? Because we went over in the last video, yeah? Okay, so 5-number summary. So from the quartile, we include 2 more numbers. That's why 5-number summary. So from quartile, we have a Q sub 1, Q sub 2, Q sub 3, right? Then we add the minimum, maximum. Yeah, okay. So minimum Q1, medium Q2, which is same as, and Q3 and maximum. Yeah. Okay, so I can show you StatCrunch one more time. Quiz scores, right? All right. I'm gonna make a share screen. Okay, now we have a new terminology, which is box plot. So here, box plots without outliers. Then, what is a box plot? What is outliers? Let's take a look. We just learned 5-number summary. And we want to create a new diagram. So we call the box plot, like a graph, right? Okay, so box plot looks like this. Here is a box, right? That's what we call the box plot. And then what is outliers? Outlier is highly unusual observation when compared to other data set. All right? Okay, let me highlight it. Let me highlight. All right. Now we call in this box IQR interquartile range. And then look, we have a 25%, 25%, which is a 50%, right? And we have 25%, 25%, another 50%, right? So total is 100%. And let's take a look. From the 5-number summary, we have minimum here, Q sub 1, median Q sub 2, right? And then Q sub 3 and maximum, right? Okay, so from Q sub 1 to the minimum, that line we call the whisker. This is a whisker. And this is a whisker. Then we have more than one, so we call the whiskers. Yeah. Okay, and then in the middle, we have a interquartile range, right? Yeah, it's the same as definition of interquartile range, right? So we talk about the middle, inside the middle, 50%. Yeah, okay. So we have that. All right, now we want to create box plot by hand. And then I'm gonna show you how to use StatCrunch too, right? Okay, so we have average poverty rates in US to create a box plot. 5-number summary, minimum 6.4, Q1 9.9, Q2 11.5, Q sub 3 14, maximum 19.8, right? And then there is no outlier. So outlier means the highly unusual observation compared with other data set, right? So outlier, let me highlight. So box plot. Box plot. Okay. We have a strategy how to draw box plot here. So step one, draw a horizontal line long enough to include minimum and maximum. Hold on 1 second. Let me draw. Yeah. So step one say that draw horizontal line. Oh, yeah, too pink. Draw horizontal line and include the minimum and maximum data and scale it with the equal spacing. Okay. Let me take a look the average probability rate. Yeah, we can see that the minimum is 6.4, right? And maximum is 19.8. So we can start 5 or 6. It's okay. And then they say that we don't have an outlier, right? So the data is far away from the other data set, right? Yeah. Okay, so we can say that this is 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 5. Yeah, start to 5. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. Okay. All right. I can draw a little bit in the middle. Yeah. All right. Now they say that draw vertical line segment at each of quartile. So quartile Q sub 1 9.9 and then Q sub 2 11.5 and Q sub 3 is 14. So let's draw 9.9 and 11.5 and 14. Yeah. Okay. So this is Q sub 1, Q sub 2, Q sub 3. Yeah. All right. Step 2. Oh, I made a step 2, step 2, step 2. Yeah. Complete the box for the middle portion by adding. Okay, so we're gonna make a box. Huh. It's not straight. Okay. And then internet is very slow. It doesn't work. Hold on 1 second. Is it? All right. Yeah, better. Okay. Now, step 3, place a dot at maximum. Yeah, minimum we have 6.4. And maximum we have 19.8, it's about here. All right, then step 4 say that draw a line segment from left side of the box to the minimum and from the right side to the maximum, right? So we draw the line. Draw the line. So that is the line is the whiskers, right? Yeah. Is it good? All right. Now I'm going to show you how to use a StatCrunch. So I will use this data set, okay? All right. Let me pause. Okay, let's talk about the outliers. So we had the outliers earlier. Each data set far away from with another data set, right? Okay, so when I showed you StatCrunch, we did on-click for this one because we knew that there is no outlier, right? But then if we want to find out whether there is an outlier or not, we must click this one, all right? Okay, so we have a definition. This one first. So outlier is observation that is far outside normal range of values for the data, right? Okay. Then how do we know how much far away from the other data set, right? Okay, we have to prove. How? We have a formula for that. So we're gonna make a fence, lower fence, upper fence, or left fence, right fence, yeah? Okay, now statistician found out lower fence will be more lower from Q1. How much lower? Subtract, and there is magic number 1.5 times interquartile range. Okay, so we make a fence there. Like from your house, you make a fence. Okay, we have an upper fence. We want to extend more. How much more from the Q3? We add 1.5 and times IQR, all right? Okay, we made a boundary from Q1, Q3 more. Subtract, add, how much? 1.5 times IQR, it's 1, right? All right. So we have nice picture of that, right? So there will be lower fence, upper fence. Okay. All right. Then how do we determine outliers? Outlier is the definition of outliers is the data set far away from with other data set, right? So we say that the outlier is below lower fence or the outlier more than upper fence. I mean, the data set, the data set is below than lower fence or more than upper fence, then we say that that is outlier, okay? All right, so we have a strategy how to find the outliers. So since we need to find the lower fence, upper fence, we must find Q sub 1, Q sub 2. No, we don't need the Q sub 2, right? So Q sub 1, Q sub 3, and IQR, right? Okay. Then calculate lower fence and upper fence. If the data set is below lower fence or bigger than upper fence, then that will be outlier. right? Okay, let's do it. Here's example. All right, so this information from the previous, oh, you cannot see. All right, so let's find lower fence. So lower fence, let me denote it this way, right? So Q sub 1 minus 1.5 times IQR. So if you want to use calculator, please make a parenthesis when you do calculator, right? All right. So we have Q sub 1, which is 9.9 minus 1.5 times IQR. IQR in that case, oh, we don't have IQR. Sorry about that. Let's find IQR. So IQR, which is Q3 minus Q sub 1, yeah? Yeah, differences between inner quartile, right? Okay, so what do you get? So Q sub 3, which is 14 minus 9.9. Can you please calculate? All right, 4.1? Yeah, 4.1. Okay, so 4.1 IQR. Now, can you please calculate lower fence or left of fence, which is 3.75? 3.7. Okay, now addition. Can you please try with the addition? That is upper fence, right? So Q sub 3 plus 1.5. So we don't need a parentheses. IQR. So Q3, which is 14 plus 1.5, but let's do that. Yeah. 4.5. How much do we have? 20.15. Okay. Does any data set below than 3.75 and below that, I'm sorry, more than bigger than 20.15? No, right? Because I remember that minimum was, yeah, 6.4, right? And then maximum was 19.8, right? So no data set below low fence, bigger than upper fence. So there is no outlier as expected, right? So let me write it down. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought I made a pause. All right, so thus there is no outlier since every data set is in the lower fence and upper fence. Yeah, okay. All right, now let's find out outliers, then we can check the answer with the StatCrunch. StatCrunch does not provide us a low fence, upper fence, and oh, they have IQR, right? But then, so once again, StatCrunch does not have low fence, upper fence, so we have to do by hand, but we can check the outlier by box plot, right? Okay, let's do it. So low fence Q sub 1 minus IQR, sorry, 1.5. So 1.5. 5 times IQR. What was the IQR? Yeah, There is IQR, so when you're using StackCrunch, it's a find out. Yeah. So you don't have to work more, right? So our Q3 minus Q7, so 60 minus 51. Yeah. All right. So Q7 we have uh 51 minus 1.5. IQR is the 9. Yeah. All right. So this team is we have to put the parentheses, right? Okay. So what do we have? 37.5. How about upper fence? Choose of 3 plus 5 times IQR. So choose of 360 minus 1.5 times 3. So what do you have? This is 73.5. Okay, let's check that. Which data set is below than 37.5? Which data set is more than 73.5? So there is a low fence of offense, right? So there is no. So let me make one more page. Okay. So low fence 37.5, upper fence fence. So we have 73.5. Yeah. Can you please check it out? Check this out. Yeah. Which number below 37.5? Which number above 73.5? So what can you think about that? We can think about the maximum, right? So no data set indicates lower than 37.5, but there is a 78 maximum bigger than upper fence, right? So let's conclude. Thus, there is just to say 78 is outlier. 78 is outlier. Better. Outlier says 78 is larger than the upper fence, which is 73.5, right? Okay, so we have a nice picture here. Yeah. So 78 is the outlier, and then lower fence and upper fence. Yeah. Okay, let me show you StackCrunch. Which data we have to use? I'm gonna use that is the US president inauguration data, right? So I'm gonna use that. All right, now we have a box plot with the outliers. Okay, so we knew how to draw box plot by hand earlier without outlier, right? It was simple. So now we have outlier. So how do we draw box plot, right? Okay, so we are going to add lower fence, upper fence, and then we are going to add outliers. Yeah. Okay. And same as earlier. I need all the information. Let me bring here. Okay, so let's try that. It's not. All right, so slow. All right, so minimum is for 42 and upper fence 37. Let's make a 35, yeah? 35, 36, no, until 80, right? Okay, I will make a little bit bigger. All right, so I draw the horizontal line and then we want to insert Q1, 51 here, and medium 55, and then Q3 60, and then we enclose the box. It's my box plan. And then, huh, not straight there, huh? Okay, I cannot make that, yeah. Sorry about that. It's not straight. Okay. Uh, then we make a whisker from Q1 to the smallest data set between fence. Fence, low fence is a 37.5. So let's make a 37.5 here, lower fence. Lower fence, I just make a lower fence, 37.5. It's over here. Upper fence, 73.5. It's over here. Okay, now the data set, which one data set is bigger than lower fence? Can you check that? I can see 42. Yeah, 42 is the bigger than lower fence, which is minimum in the case, right? Yeah, 42. So 42 is over here. So we're gonna make a whisker. So 42 is over here, right? Yeah. Now, oh, sorry, it's not straight. And whisker, other side, we want to make it from Q3 to maximum is 78, which is the outlier. And then the upper fence is a 73.5. Which data set is close to the upper fence? 73, 73. You said 73. 70? What else, right? So 70, right? So we draw the whisker until 70. Make sense? Yeah, I don't see the not straight. Sorry about that. Forgive me. All right. And then outliers as stories. Yeah, so outliers. 78. So let's make a 70. This is 80, then 78. So back, right? Outlier. Yeah, makes sense? This is how we draw box plot by hand with the outlier. Okay. So now we have important point. We can use a dot or asterisk earlier, right? I was using that for outlier, right? Okay, so why we are using box plot? So we want to compare the graph as well. So let's take a look. So one semester we have the scores. So box plots for 10 a.m., 11 a.m. statistic courses about the exam scores. Okay. Now we want to answer all 5 questions. Let's take a look. I want to explain with the solution because we have a nice solution with the pictures, right? Okay, so which class had a higher median grade, right? So where's the median? Median is here, right? Higher? This is a much higher, right? Yeah. Not much. Is it much? Yeah. So this one less than 70, this one is 80. Yeah, much. Okay. So we have a nice picture, right? So median. Let me write that. Median. See here. So 10 a.m. better. Yeah, good. Okay, second one we have which class had a larger IQR? What's the IQR? It's in the middle, right? Middle is middle 50% is IQR. So which portion is bigger? This one is bigger, right? So 10 a.m. better, right? Okay, so we have that. So this is slightly better than that. So 10 a.m. better. So middle 50%, right? So more portion. All right. See which class had more score higher than 70? Okay, so higher than 70, 70 is here, right? So 70 is here. Okay, now each one has, we have a 25% in box plot, right? So from whisker to the Q1 is 25%, Q1 to the Q2, which is median is 25%, Q2 to Q3, 25%, Q3 to the another whisker maximum is 25%, right? Okay. If we measure from the 70 here to here, less than 50%, right? And here to here, so 25, 25, 25, a little bit more than 75. Yes, it is correct, right? So 10 a.m. better. Okay. Now, which class had the outliers? Outlier, we can see that this is outlier, right? Dot or asterisk. Outlier. Outlier. Or we can use that, yeah? Yeah. So, new 11 a.m. has outlier. Ooh. What is 2 square? Okay, based the last question, based on the box plot, was the professor's concern justified, right? So basically, which class is better, right? Which class is not good, right? So based on that box plot, 10 a.m. better, right? Yeah. So let's just wait. 10 a.m. Everything was better, right? So 10 a.m. class did much better on the weekend. And then if we made this 70 score as the C, right? So more than 75% have a C or better, right? Okay. You guys okay? Very good. Now, even box plot, we can recognize, we can figure out the shape of a distribution. So what kind of distribution we had? So we had a bell shape, skewed left, and not middle finger, skewed right. Yeah, three types, right? And then we had a uniform before too, right? Okay, then let's take a look. Bell shape first. If we have, ooh, recording, yes. If we have bell shape, box or equal, left side, right side, and looking at the whiskers, yeah, same length. There is a box plot. Skew the left, more data set on the left, and then looking at the whisker, longer than right side, yeah, can you see? And also box too. This box is bigger than this box, yeah, skew the left. Left side is bigger than right side. How about skew the right? More data set on the right, right? Okay, looking at the box on the right, more bigger, and then whisker, right whisker, more bigger, right? Okay, very good. Okay, we have an example here. Let's take a look. So we have Rotten Tomato. It's a moving rating service, right? And then we have two companies and they talk about the box plot, the movies. One is Marvel and this is superhero, right? And then we want to talk about the center, dispersion, shape, and outlier. Okay, so let's analyzing the box plot. All right, let's take a look. So measure of a center. So measure of a center. Where is median? So median in the case here, right? So median. This is a median. Median. It's 80. And then the DC superhero is a little bit, right? Yeah. And then let's talk about measure of variation. Variation means the dispersion, right? So dispersion. And which one is more dispersed? The inner quartile is similar, right? And then we can see that the whiskers, marble has more whiskers, right? Yeah, a little bit, longer whiskers. Yeah, okay. disperse. But then they say that it's about the same, huh? To me, it's a little bit more dispersed, just a little bit. Yeah. Because this much and this much, yeah. Okay, shape of dispersion. So we can see that longer whiskers left, bigger box left. So skew to left. We can see that, right? Skew to left. And look, box, similar. Whisker, similar, right? So we can say that bell shape was symmetric, right? Yeah. Okay. That's it. Symmetry. All right. So, oh, outlier. We don't see any outlier, right? Okay, so we don't see any outlier. Okay, we can see the summary. Yeah, the median rating for marble is approximately equal to third quartile for DC superhero rating. So half of a rating for Marvel movies were about 80 or higher, while only 25% of DC rating were about 80 or higher. The two companies have approximately the same amount of variation. Approximately same, right? Yeah. But then Marvel movie have had consistently higher Rotten Tomatoes rating. So let me go back to this statement. Yeah. So that we can understand this one. So half of a rating for Marvel movies were about 80. We knew that their median is 80. Then they said they were higher, while only 25% of DC rating were about 80 or higher, right? So let's take a look here. From here to here. And say one more time. Let's take a look one more time. Yeah, they say that while only 25% of DC rating were about 80 or higher. So 80 or higher is only 25% here, right? So let me 25%. The median is 80 in that case. 80. Yeah, here is a 50. Little bit more than 50. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense, right? Okay, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.